Let's now focus on the back of the model. If I switch off those panels to look at the image without distractions, now I can clearly judge, I can clearly make decisions which parts of the image should be darkened. So for sure the background, this wall on the left hand side and the wall on the right hand side, I want to darken them, and that way I want to make the back pop out stronger, to make it the focal point, the most important element in the composition of my photo. So let's get back to the panels and let's add another adjustment layer, curves, and this time let's call it body, since I will be focusing mainly on the back of the model. Let's make this panel smaller to save some space here for the photo. Okay, so having this layer selected, now I'm going to focus on the back. Having said this, I'm going to sample from the darkest part of the back and from the brightest to make this part of the image more two-dimensional, to be able to strengthen its distinction. I can completely ignore rest of the image at this point because I will mask this part anyway. Okay, let's select the targeted adjustment tool and let's select first from the darkest area of the back. So I guess I can go around here. And now let's create the second control point from the brightest part of the back. Notice that we don't want to lose texture in her body, so I can't push this part too much. I don't want to make it that bright that I will lose details. However, to judge if I'm already in trouble or not, looking at the histogram is very helpful. So I can refresh the histogram and it is telling me all the time if I have issues already in this image or not. At this point I'm completely safe. I can still increase lights in the image and I can still deepen the shadows. So let's first focus on the highlights. I'm going to pull this control point upwards, release and have a look at the histogram. I can push it a little bit more, and now let's pull down the second control point to increase shadows in the back. So I can see that I went a little bit too far with this point. I would prefer to have more texture on the back, on those parts. So actually keeping this point pretty close to this diagonal line gives much better results, and moving this point more to the bottom is strengthening the contrast. Okay, let's toggle on and off the layer to see the results that I have achieved. So actually I'm going to make the shadows a little bit less strong. I'm going to pull this point a little bit upwards and go with this point higher to make the highlights still stronger. I'm after a balance, so it really takes a lot of trial and error to find the best point to get the best results. I guess around this area it's pretty satisfactory. Let's zoom out, toggle on and off, and now let's just mask the back, since I don't want to have these effects at all, that way affecting the rest of the image. So I'm hitting the mask, now Command I to invert the mask, and I will be painting over the black mask with white color. I'm selecting the brush with B, decreasing size of the brush. Opacity 80 is probably a little bit too much. Let's try. I'm going to decrease opacity, so I'm hitting 5 on the keyboard, so that way I went down to 50, and I just want to cover the back area and a bit of the arm. Let's zoom in. Let's go down with the opacity to 20. I just hit 2 on my keyboard, and let's make this transition smoother. So I want to cover the face and just make sure that it affects the whole back of the model and her arm. Okay. Let's move over the hair. Now I'm hitting X on my keyboard and I want to make this effect a bit less pronounced on the face, so I will be painting with a black color again and just revealing the previous stage of the photo. Okay, let's zoom out, and I would like to introduce more contrast at the background, so I think I went too far here at the outfit, so I will be painting again with the black color just to make this part a little bit brighter, to still keep the details in the texture. Okay, let's zoom out, and now I'm hitting X on the keyboard again, and I just want to darken those walls that create our background. So the opacity 20 is fine. I just want to quickly paint over the walls to make them work as a frame to hold the composition. Okay, let's now toggle on and off the layer. It slowly starts working really well. Let's maybe darken the wall a bit more here at the top to create a subtle vignette effect. Okay, and the same I'm going to repeat over the top edge of the photo and at the bottom as well. To keep the viewer's attention on her back, I actually want to make the face still a little bit darker. Opacity 20 is too much, so I'm hitting 1 and I just want to slightly paint over. 10 is still too much. I will go down to 5 since I want to maintain control over this process and make the face a little bit darker without losing details. I will make the arm a little bit brighter. I want to be able to show the beautiful tattoos. So I just swap the colors and I'm painting with a black color over her arm. This shadow is a little bit too deep on the neck. Okay, so after performing these adjustments, this layer actually in a very dramatic way affected the image. So we have applied the S-shaped curve to take care of the overall contrast in the image, and after that we focused on adjusting light and shadow in the body of the model.